Hello everybody. Right, I pulled in at lay-by to start my camera off. The lay-by is probably big enough for one, maybe two Arctics. So what I've done, I've pulled in rather considerately. What I've done, I've pulled in, but I've gone right towards the front of said lay-by. So if any HGVs come in, oh excuse me, if any HGVs come in, they can come in and fit their tail end in and that. Anyway, it's been an eventful couple of weeks, without going into too much detail. My aged mother had a fall in her residential home and broke her other hip. And then when I went to see her a fortnight ago today, I fell and broke one of my ribs, and hence why I haven't done a video on YouTube since. But I feel compelled to do one today. I was following a lovely, this is a bit, what's the word? Controversial. I was following a lovely car and caravan, and there was a car in between us, and no, there wasn't. Get it right, Sandy. Alright, I will. In front of the car and caravan was a normal saloon car. In front of that was a whacking great big Arctic piled high with hay. And I thought to myself, well, he ain't going to be moving very fast, meaning the Arctic driver, because the hay will be, I'm getting fed up of that, the hay will be wet. So I thought to myself, there's no point rushing up to the back of the caravan either, because he won't be able to get round the hay trailer, and neither will I. So I thought, well, ouch, excuse me. Anyway, going back to these health things, should we start again? Yes, alright then. Hello, how are you? Right, I've had an eventful couple of weeks. Mum fell, my mum had a fall and she broke her hip, so she's been in hospital with that. And then I went to see her after she come home, because I've still got issues with my mobility, and I actually had a fall outside the nursing home, and I had a fall and I broke a rib, and now the bruising's coming up. Here we go. Have a look at this. This is that lovely car and caravan. I just think it's gorgeous. I love seeing them on the road. This is the controversial point. I don't mind being stuck behind caravans, and I don't mind stuck behind lorries. I mean, God knows that as a child we used to go on caravanning holidays and stuff like that. Now, the controversial thing is mirrors. Just going to keep well over because of this Arctic in the left-hand lane, which you can't see. Oh, so you're going to pull out. That's okay. Then you pull out. And I'll go in this lane after my mirrors. Just watching the Arctic on the right to make sure that you don't suddenly, for some reason, swing round. Checking with mirrors. We've got a few stormy skies today. Anyway, so I'm recuperating from broken rib, and now Mum's got pneumonia, which is unfortunate. Yeah, anyway, going back to these cars and caravans and lorries, I actually like, as sad as I am, but thanks to Barry from the group that we follow called On Board With Me and Me HGV, he gives you sort of like, in his older videos, you'll have to excuse the windscreen wipers, he gives you an insight into what it's like to be a truck driver. Now, whilst it doesn't suit everybody, he seems to have a genuine passion about it. And I think some of the biggest lorries on the roads are the most graceful if driven properly. I love watching them park in like tight spaces. I don't sort of like deliberately park somewhere that's going to make the lorry driver struggle. It's like the other week I was in town excuse me, and I was in town, and a local cheapie shop with the big red and blue trailers and the big red and blue billboard outside, they was having a delivery, and it's a tight delivery bay. So as I approached, I see this lorry driver. Sort of like, I knew what he was doing. He was trying to reverse in, but they changed their drivers fairly frequently. So what happened was, I thought to myself, well, I looked at the situation on approach, and I thought to myself, well, he ain't going to do that in one. So I stopped, and I gave him plenty of room, and like he's trying to do it in a hurry, and I might be wrong, because as Barry says, every day's a school day. It looked to me like he was out on one of his first runs. I mean, I play truck sim, but it don't make me sort of like truck driver of the year. And you know, I thought to myself, he needs to be like left hand down a bit to swing the trailer round to the right, I think it is. And he done a couple of shunts at it, and like all the drivers behind me, they're saying, come on, move yourself, and I was getting bibbed at and gesticulated at, and I thought, you know what, fuck off, sorry about the language, but I thought, fuck off, You soon want your Easter eggs and your cheap shampoo and your cheap body sprays and cheap groceries and stuff like that, but you don't want to give them 5 minutes to be able to reverse their lorry, their delivery lorry, which is bringing you more bargains, into the shop. So you can bloody well wait a minute. So I just wound down the window and gave them the old Harvey Smith salute. Ouch. And people have got to realise we all want to go on holidays. And for some people, caravanning and camping and caravanning used to be, what's that gone off? Right, it used to be a cheap holiday, you know, as opposed to sort of like foreign holidays. But now it's bloody expensive. Well, they've invested in all this caravans, and if they're drove responsibly, mind you, you pay about 36 grand for a brand new caravan. I don't know the prices now. And it's probably one of the biggest investments you'll ever buy. You know, and you like to keep it clean and tidy and that, and one of your prides and possessions. Just being mindful of this Tesco's lorry in the laybay. Especially as I've seen it's being driven by Kalina. Ouch. They're not the best drivers on the road, I'm afraid to say. I may get some shit from that, I don't care. It's my opinion. Opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got them, but we don't have to wave it in people's faces. Anyway, so, you know, if they drove responsibly, you know, I mean, you will get the occasional geriatric who probably hasn't drove all year, and sheep in the fields. Oh, remind me to tell you about that. Okay. Yeah, anyway, they don't drive all year, but they still want to take their caravans down to see their kids or take their grandkids on holiday. Right, there's a Stobart lorry in the lay-by with its hazard lights on. I'm just mindful of that. There's a lorry in front of that. Mindful of that as well. You know, my philosophy with any driving, I mean, I'm going up the road now. I'm on a dual carriageway, which the legal limit for a car is 70. I'm doing 55. There's no point speeding up. There's a great big Arctic down there with a Peugeot stuck behind it, and there's traffic lights, and in about 300 yards we're going into a 40 limit. There you go, there's a 40 limit, and I haven't had to touch my brakes. I've just backed it off and beg. But you still get people in the 40 limit along here doing 70, and they get to about here and they think, oh fiddle, the lights are on red. But there you go, it's just forward planning. There's your big one from Wigan. Oh look, a Virgin in Rushden. Way. Anyway. That will teach me. Is that a DAF? I think so. Oh, no, I stand corrected. There's an Iveco, this Virgin lorry. Not much speed. Anyway, so yeah, I don't speed. I like to think that I get there from A to B in a responsible manner, and I like to think that I do it in a considerate manner to other road users. I mean, I'm going up here slowly accelerating. Brace myself. Oh, bit of surface water there. Yeah, I like to think sort of like I'm an okay-ish kind of driver. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'm the best driver on the road, because I know I'm not. My son is. Mind you, I talk. Anyway, no, joking. I did teach my son to drive, and he did pass his test. He had one paid lesson. He put in for his test, and he passed his test first time. Mind you, even if it was his 51st time, I'd still be proud of him. Anyway. So, I like to think that I get from A to B. I've heard it said from various individuals, I drive like Miss Daisy. But I'd rather get there. I've always had the same attitude to driving, always. It's better to be 2 minutes late in this life than 20 years early in the next. And even when I did domiciliary care, they'd say, oh, she's the slowest driver we've got. Probably am. But how many of them end up ragging their cars? And I mean, I used to drive around in some right old thingies, rock boxes, and yeah. So, you know, I've not always drove around in a new car, and sometimes I feel more comfortable driving older cars, the ones that you actually have to drive. Oh dear. So I don't mind being stuck behind cars with caravans on the back, camper vans. You know, it gives you time to take in the scenery and appreciate this green and pleasant land that we occupy. We've rented from the boss upstairs, you know, and I mean, I just love it. Stuck behind lorries, alright, sometimes they can be a bit of a inconvenience, but I mean, with X amount of more people coming onto the roads each year and X amount of people leaving the roads each year, you know, it's just one of those things. It's an occupational hazard. Yeah. No particularly, having said that, no particularly brilliant scenery today. I'm just going from A to B, then to C, and then back again. Oh, excuse me. I mean, alright, with the price of petrol and diesel, would much rather we get somewhere like from A to B without being stuck in traffic, without stuck in traffic for 20 minutes or so. So, you know, it's just one of them things. You want to go places. Other people want to go places. They need to go places. You know, but this is what happens when I go out in the spring mornings and I listen to the birds' song and the sound of the rain pattering down. What are they doing over there? You know, I become very philosophical. My sofa's become philical. Finally doing that road up there, bloody good on. That bloody time. Oh, nice flash, nice flash, nice flash. People on the crossing. Ba, 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 ba. I'll tell you what does annoy me about road users. It's not necessarily boy racers, it's not girl racers, it's any sort of race. And that's, I ain't got 2 minutes to live. You know, and like I said, I'd rather be 5 minutes later in this life than 20 years later in the next. Just stop, slow down, enjoy the scenery. Don't get distracted by it, obviously. Excuse my sniffing, I have got bad sinuses. And the last couple of weeks where I've had bad rips, I have, every morning I have a nasal spray. And every morning, you wouldn't have thought sniffing would be so painful, would you? Bloody is. But now the bruising's coming out all ways round. Right. Have a good day. Drive safely. Play nicely. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye.